I hate when companies decide to blackwash characters.
Blackwashing is not a thing. I know there are people who are trying to make it a thing by saying it over and over and over again, but it's still not a thing. Maybe if you say it enough times, you'll get your own official definition and not be redirected, but even then, it will not be the thing you think it is. Whitewashing is racism. The intent of whitewashing was to tell people of color that they weren't even good enough to play their own people. The effect of whitewashing was to further minimize the presence of people of color in cinema to the point where they didn't exist or were practically erased. The practice came to be called whitewashing because whitewashing was already a term that described covering something over with white paint so that you couldn't see what was underneath. The consequence of whitewashing was to dilute the presence of people of color to the point where they were nothing more than a costume. To call this blackwashing is to create a sense of false equivalency, because the 100 years of white representation in Hollywood that precedes these people isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And even with this much diversity, it's still a fraction of the white representation in Hollywood today, much less in all of fiction. And can we please stop belittling Yara by calling her casting pander, as if the only thing she has to bring to the table is her blackness? As if the only thing this young woman has to bring to audiences is the color of her skin? As if her presence isn't justified by the fact that she's a well-known actress of this generation. And I know a bunch of you are going to come at me saying, we don't need another live-action Disney reboot, as if that was even the point of this conversation. But after 100 years of Peter Pan being adapted in stage, cinema, cartoons, television, suddenly enough is enough now. It is not pandering to hire a person who knows how to do the job. And it isn't blackwashing because it isn't going to dilute 100 years of cinema that fought to prevent this from ever happening.